Hi, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy. Thanks so much for being here and happy fall, y'all. I tried to record this video outside so that you could see the pumpkins and my decorations and set it up all cute for you. And just like last week, I was foiled by the weather and also by neighbors because I think there's some sort of law of physics where people cannot hear their own dogs barking incessantly or their own car alarms. It's only everyone else that has to hear them. Annoying, okay? So I was annoyed and I came back in and I've decided recording outside is for the birds. So I'm not gonna do that for a while. But I'm back inside and fall is upon us. I was on a fall cleaning jag today, which usually happens. I don't do spring cleaning, but fall cleaning. I'm usually very motivated. I guess it's the cooler weather. And I also decided I need to get rid of half of everything that I own. But I think that feeling will probably pass by tomorrow. All of that energy will have been expended. You know, all of that get rid of everything I own energy, it will pass. It's just a passing phase. It's like a Wheel of Fortune kind of thing. I'm drinking coffee out of my Harry Potter mug. It's super cute and fallish. I think Harry Potter is very fall. Although this fall is consisting mostly of Squid Games, which I'm convinced is giving me weird dreams. I just finished episode 6, I think on Friday. I'm processing. It's percolating. You know, it's rocking my world and it's very claustrophobic. So it's kind of anxiety producing to watch the show. But of course I must keep watching. You know, I just can't stop. Can't look away. So anyway, that's what I've been up to, and I've got a cinnamon broom so the house smells nice and cinnamony, and got some pumpkins, and you know, I was motivated to hang some decorations. I also love fall because I can get out the Halloween jewelry. These are snakes and I've had them since high school. Now they're Halloween jewelry, but in high school they were just like what I wore every day with a Motley Crue t-shirt and a bad attitude. And it just takes me back. I am loving this fall. Look what I found, much by accident. I was in the crystal shop in the mall and I got an impromptu tarot reading and found Nag Champa backflow incense cones, which I've been searching for months. I cannot find them on Amazon. I can't find them anywhere. And there they were, like out of nowhere. And I was so happy. Anyway, Michael got me this backflow incense burner a couple Christmases ago, I believe, and I don't burn the incense that comes with it because I'm very picky about incense. I think no-name brand incense is very sketchy and you don't know what's in it or where it was made and what you're inhaling. So I just stick to Nag Champa because it's the gold standard for me anyway. I love the smell of Nag Champa. Today I am doing a VR to my friend Rosemary at Good Journeys Tarot, and this is the hashtag what I like in a guidebook. And I think this is going to be a simple video. I have some examples of no guidebooks and examples of yes guidebooks. Now, I'm always after that unicorn guidebook, and I think I have one that is the closest that any book's ever going to come, so I will share that one with you. Basically, what I like in the guidebook is guidance, and I want guidance that is specific to that specific deck, that exact deck. Now, if it's a Rider-Waite clone, then I almost don't need anything. I don't want the little white book. I don't want the little white pamphlet because I'm just gonna, you know, throw it away and never look back. Not because I think I know all of the information, but just because I'm lazy and I have my go-to books that I like. So any generic tarot book that gives you the glossary of meaning can probably would be well suited for Rider-Waite clones. Or if you have some Thoth books, any Thoth clone is going to pair well with generic deck, you know, book. You know what I mean? But something that deviates from the norm, and that is an original, unique deck, it needs a specific guidebook. And I almost feel like you shouldn't even put the deck out there until that guidebook comes out. I mean, that's how strongly I feel, because it can, to me, it feels like the deck is incomplete if I don't know what the deck creator's train of thought was. It prevents me from really experiencing that deck completely when I have a deck that is very original, very unique, and not a standard weight-based deck. One deck that I keep saying I wish there was any guidebook was the Golden Girls Tarot, and I have my little bag here. And because I am familiar, there was nothing with it. Because I have watched the series a billion times, I know who these characters are, and so I can guess why Sophia is the suit of, you know, why she's the magician, or why she's a particular suit. And I can guess, you know, why the tower is Shady Pines, and what episode that might have come from, and who these people are that show up in the cards. But if you're less familiar, you might not know that. If you've only seen some episodes, or you've only seen the episodes one time and not 20 times like I have, you might not get as much out of the cards, because I want to know, you know, I want to know why this card was chosen with this person in it, why they were paired. Or maybe I don't know who this guy is that Sophia's dancing with, and why was that chosen, and what episode did that happen in. Like right here, I'm not sure if this is Big Daddy, or it could be, but it could also be a couple other people. So I'm just curious, and I would love to know the train of thought there. The next book that I thought was kind of a shame, considering how much I love the deck, is the Titanic Tarot. And this guidebook, I think, had it just included a little bit more information, really could have made the deck just complete and special, because there were such interesting stories in this deck, and you have to do the research on your own, and I think the creator should have done that for the reader. So there is a picture for each card, and some of the, you know, all of these are real people, and so some of the cards have the name of the person who this is, but it doesn't really say why. It doesn't make the connection for you. You have to make the connection. Like, why is Violet Jessup the Queen of Cups? I'm sorry, the Queen of Wands. I know who she is, okay? So I know that story, but if you don't know that story, then it might not have that much meaning to you. And it says, this is Violet Jessup. So for the kings and queens, it tells you the name of the person, but for the pages and the knights, it has people on there, and I know they're real people, but their name was not included in the guidebook. And so I've spent a long time researching pictures and trying to find pictures of survivors that look similar and guessing who they might be. And I've done that for a lot of the cards, but I feel like that should have been done for us, and it would have just made the whole experience more complete. Another book like that is the Japaridze Tarot, and another art deck that I have is the Golden Tarot of Klimt, and that's another one that it's like, why didn't you tell me why each of these pictures was chosen for that card? You know, for example, I want to know why the moon is a big eyeball in the Japarise Tarot, and it doesn't really tell you why the moon is a big eyeball. Inquiring minds want to know. It will describe the picture. It will tell you a brief divinatory meaning, but it doesn't say, here's why this represents this card. It mostly will describe, there's an eyeball and it has these tentacles and, you know, and it just doesn't do much for me. And another thing is that in this deck, the knights are called strangers, and I want to know why. It tells you the correspondence. Page is jester, knight is stranger, but it doesn't say why you needed to change that and what for. Why is the suit of swords called air? Why did you go with war for the emperor instead of calling it the emperor? I'm sorry, emperor. Why is the emperor called war instead of emperor? And I just want to know that because it would have made my connection to this deck a lot richer. Another guidebook that left me wanting more was Antique Anatomy, and it's a beautiful guidebook. It's in color and it's very pretty. It has a lot of numerological meanings listed and astrological meanings listed, but it doesn't really tell you, it doesn't connect it to each card. It just says like generic astrology and tarot. And I can live without all the history of tarot stuff at the beginning. All the Tarot 101 stuff at the beginning of a guidebook, I'm skipping over. The history of tarot, how to care for your cards, how to store your deck, how to shuffle the cards. Like I don't care about any of that because at this point, I shuffle how I shuffle and that's all. You know, I want to know why there's a brain on that picture. I want to know why you chose red flowers, and that's information that was not given that I really want to know. Now, some guidebooks that are very strong guidebooks, I think, are, I picked 3 of them. And one of them is the Grande Dame, as Jason would say. One of them is the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. This, first of all, if you're an ink sniffer, this one is amazing. It's amazing because it is glossy and full color and absolutely, you know, gorgeous. So I love that it's almost like magazine-y kind of paper. That's a plus for me. But it tells you The Man of the Crowd is the name of this story. So it tells you which story this card is connected to, which I love. I love that, okay? And it says why it was chosen for this card. This is what the narrator's doing. And then it says, well, it actually doesn't really go into a lot why. It says who the narrator is or who the character is and what book they're from, what short story that they are from. But you can kind of put that together for yourself because after the connection to the story, it will tell you the divinatory meaning and what this card means, and you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. So Edgar Allan Poe Tarot, this does a really decent job of giving me the info that I want. Another book that is chock full of info is the Mott Tarot by Julia Cuccia Watts. This came out years ago, and I love this deck. Now, this deck has, has astrological, you know, connections, and that's how the deck is set up. And I'm not super into astrology, but the only thing I don't like is that the book does not go in order. It goes in order of, I think, some sort of astrology thing. I don't know. But there's a lot of information in this. It has even a fold-out chart of how you should lay out the whole deck for astrological correspondences. And so it has kind of its own system. I don't use the book like that. I mean, this deck, I don't use it astrologically. I just use it how you would read a tarot deck. But it will tell you the mythology behind what you're seeing. It will tell you who's in the card. It tells you afterward the divinatory meaning. It tells you reversed meanings. And it's a whole lot of history and information and folklore and Egyptian mythology, and it's chock full of information. The Grand Dame goes along with my Grand Dame tarot deck, and that is the Robinwood Tarot Guidebook. Robinwood Tarot, the book. And it's kind of funny because I just got this guidebook either earlier this year or late last year after Gerald said, don't you have the guidebook? You got to get the guidebook. So I've had the deck since the 90s, okay, over 20 years, and never even, it did not occur to me to look for a guidebook. I don't know why. I think because it's a weight copycat, and so I just kind of go with Rider-Waite books. But this is everything you want a guidebook to be. It doesn't give you a whole lot of muckety-muck at the beginning. It does go through a little bit of a history. It goes through the history of this particular deck and how Robinwood came to create this deck. It does give you a list, several pages long, of common symbols. But then for each card, she goes into everything. She goes into why is it a male? Why is this a female? Why does this person have brown eyes? Why does this person wearing this clothing? Why is the clothing this color? Why is there a butterfly? Why is there this particular kind of plant? You know, why is it daytime? Why is it nighttime? Anything you see in this picture, she's telling you her train of thought. And she's telling you why it's there and what it means. And that's what I want to see in a guidebook. There are some other blurbs here like tarot ethics and spreads at the back of the book. And I think a lot, there's also, you know, some rules for tarot games, which is interesting. But things like tarot spreads to me are very personal, and what works for one person for another person might make no sense. So I'm not a spread gal, but when I do use a tarot spread, sometimes it's easier for me to just make it myself, because when I look at spreads that other people have made, they don't always speak to me. I'm not always sure why they included this position or that position, or why didn't they include this or that. So sometimes I prefer homemade tarot spreads, and I very rarely use the spreads that are in a book. That's just me though. So anyway, what do I want in a guidebook? I want details. I want the rationale. And if it doesn't have that, then I feel like there's something lacking. So any deck that deviates from Rider-Waite imagery, I want the explanation. You have to tell us why. That is all. Okay. So I'm going to go back to processing Squid Games. I cleaned, and now my house is a wreck, and so now I have to kind of put it back together, because you know how when you clean it, anyway. So that's going to be my Sunday, and thanks for watching, and make sure you like or subscribe. You know the deal. Okay, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a good one. Happy fall.